Wedding Talk with Mindy and Carol, your insider guide to trends, tips, and stress-free planning.
This is Carol. We're back with Mindy and I with Wedding Talk.
Hi, and as Carol mentioned, I'm Mindy Phillips, and between the both of us, we do about 50 plus destination weddings a year. And today we are really excited because we have a destination bride with us who recently got married at the beautiful, majestic properties in Punta Cana. She's going to tell us and share which one. And we're going to just do a casual conversation with her and learn what it was like for her to plan her destination from afar. So, welcome, Iris. We are so excited to have you on the podcast with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited about today.
I'm excited. So, what date did you get married?
December 5th, last year, which in December.
Cool, cool. So, which resort was it that you got married in Punta Cana?
Majestic Mirage Punta Cana.
One of my favorites. One
Mhm.
of my favorites.
Beautiful.
Love the
Mhm.
rooms. Love the rooms there. Yes, love the rooms
Yes,
there. Yeah.
I love everything Majestic. I just think they do such a great job. The properties in Punta Cana and also in the Costa Mujeres area of Cancun.
Mhm.
They just do a great job. Their wedding program is a little unique, so you really have to fully understand how their program works.
Mhm.
But thank you again for being on the podcast with us. And I guess my first question for you is what led you to want to have a destination wedding?
Well, I think when I pictured it, or you know how everyone always picture what kind of wedding they want from a little girl, I didn't have that vision. I was just inspired by my friends who they got married in their 30s, and they actually had their wedding in Turks and Caicos,
Mhm.
and a while years ago, many years ago, and it was just the thought of having a wedding there, and then I was able to attend the reception that they had locally back home. But I seen their pictures, I seen their videos on the island. It was absolutely beautiful. I was inspired and said, you know what? I'm going to do that for my big day one day.
Cool, cool. So, how did you go about deciding what resort you were going to use?
So I'm going to be honest. I did a lot of my research on TikTok. TikTok is my best friend. I
Okay.
don't know why, but even versus Google, it just gets you real life information, like real life reviews and experiences. And so there was a lot of travel agents who was putting around like what their budget friendly resorts for weddings was. Majestic came up and like, I don't know, at least three or four of them. So I said, well, let me at least explore what Majestic would be about. And that's how I kind of got steered toward Majestic. Now, once I chose that I wanted to or knew that I wanted to do Majestic, I actually tried to do Majestic Elegance Costa Mujeres, is it?
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. Mhm.
And they had no dates available.
Fills up fast.
Those up.
So I was like, well, it seems like they have a location in Punta Cana. I feel like it's the same brand, should be just as beautiful. And that's how I got to Punta Cana. And I just did some YouTube research. So we went from TikTok to YouTube.
Mhm.
YouTube gave more in-depth information about the resorts, what made me pick Mirage over like Elegance or Colonial in
Mhm.
Punta.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
So
go ahead.
I know you worked with a travel agent, but can you tell us the process? Okay, you knew you wanted to do Majestic. What made you start to interview some travel agents versus just calling the resort directly?
Okay, so here's what it was. I haven't traveled all inclusive for quite some time. I think the last resort I was at was like, I don't know, maybe 2015, and it was like Princess Resorts. I have been away from traveling for a while.
Mhm.
I knew that I didn't have the experience to know which resorts were working for people, which ones didn't. So I felt like having that guidance from a travel agent, having that eye from them would help, in choosing where I go. I actually spoke with two travel agents before, well, three in total, wedding related, but two travel agents specifically. And the first one I spoke with, she kept on steering me toward like beaches or sandals
Mhm.
Mhm.
because she only wanted to deal with those resorts. But I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a bride who likes luxury, but I also am a bride who's very mindful of my budget. Like I'm not going to sit here. When I first got into this wedding process, I knew that I was not going to be the bride that spends $25,000 on the wedding. That just was not, that was never my goal. I wanted to keep it simple, but still beautiful. And when I looked at the pricing for beaches and sandals, it just didn't align. And obviously, I got my family coming. I'm thinking about what they have to spend. I just
Exactly.
didn't think that was the best route for us. So then I spoke with another lady. She wasn't destination, but she had a destination wedding, and she told me she spent $30,000 on her destination wedding. Immediately, I'm just like, why? And she was like, it was a beautiful day. We paid for a lot of things, and I get it, but it didn't seem like she kept on insinuating that I was going to spend what she spent. And I didn't like that. It didn't align with me.
Mhm.
So I was on like a Facebook group and got connected, asked a random question about what resorts to go to, and then I spoke with another travel agent. This travel agent jumped on a call with me like a Zoom. She
Mhm.
jumped on a Zoom call. She asked me, she was a destination bride, which was helpful. She spoke to her experience when she got married at a particular resort. I think she got married at Dreams Macau.
Mhm.
And that was just really helpful. She was able to walk me through the brochure there because she already had it. And then when I told her about Majestic, she had never dealt with that resort, but she was nice enough to walk me through the brochure to explain like how what the vendor fees are, how they what the cost of the wedding would be, how many people they're including. And that was just super helpful. And I thought it was really nice on her behalf because at that point I wasn't committed to her at all.
Mhm.
And I moved forward with her essentially. And
Okay.
that's how I made my decision.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you have any, I mean, when you first picked it, you said you knew you wanted to do that resort. What were some of your biggest fears about having a destination wedding? What were some of the fears that you came on in your mind?
Um, I think I'm a little, I don't want to say crazy, but I think my biggest concern was food because I kept on getting mixed reviews about the food um, with a lot of places, but Majestic too. Some people were saying like, "Oh, I had a bad experience," but I heard other people who have, phenomenal experiences. I felt like it really just depends on it. After a while, I could see that it depends on the person, on
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like I didn't have that experience when I went to Majestic. We loved the food. There were certain places I preferred. Oh, like I didn't prefer Seaside. I preferred Marketplace for buffet. I thought the steakhouse was fine. Some people, they just have different opinions. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. 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 Once you decided on the wedding and everything, how many people did you end up having at your wedding?
40.
Okay, that's a good size
That's
group.
a pro.
Yeah, yeah. So, when you were lined up and you signed your contract for the wedding, or you just got your little wedding certificate that you get from Majestic, and then you were assigned a wedding planner. How did you feel about working with the wedding planner and resort?
So I don't know if this is normal, but I didn't speak to a direct coordinator until like, I don't know, maybe 20 days prior to my wedding.
Mhm.
Um, I spoke with, I think it's Christy. Christy is like over all the
Yep.
coordinators. So my general questions was via always through email, and she would be responsive. They typically 24 hours response time, which is fine. So it was good, because I was just asking a lot of questions about decor, specifically, or what my options would be if I went with the private reception or if I didn't. How would what would the timeline typically be? Things like that.
Okay. And then you got your on-site wedding coordinator. They usually come, the one that asks
Yes.
you 20 days
Yep.
before, and then you get down to the nitty-gritty. Did you have several meetings with her, or how did you feel that worked?
So no, so what happened was I'm a little, I don't want to say budget crazy. So I actually requested a quote for all my specifications prior to our arrival. Because I wanted to know what that looked like before we got there. I didn't want any
Absolutely.
surprises. I told you I'm budget crazy.
No, that's fine. No.
Um, did, should I share, I guess, budget spend it all or?
It's
You could
fine.
if you want to.
Okay.
It'll be good to give people an idea of what,
Yeah.
because that's one of the questions Carol and I get all the time is how much can this cost me? And there are people that spend $10,000 or less, and then you have the other end of the spectrum who are spending over 100,000. You have
Mhm.
to do you and what's going to work for you. So
Yeah.
it's always, and I don't know about Carol, but I kind of always keep invoices from resort weddings just so I can
And have
go
an
back and
idea.
show them to other couples like, okay, this is how much things run because people don't know,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So, just to be transparent with everyone, our wedding with the invoice or the quote that we got from Majestic, 10,600.
Awesome.
That sounds about right.
And that
Yep.
includes three. Oh, I know we didn't get into the vendor fees, but we had three vendor fees we had to eat, which my fiance was battling with that later on.
Yeah.
But because he couldn't get over the fact that wow, this wedding would be way under $10,000 had we not have these vendor fees. But who he married, I have a particular eye and a creative eye, and I was very particular about the photography and videography team that I went with,
Mhm.
and led me to pick them and go off site for my flowers. And
Okay.
I can get into the flowers why I went off site for that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm obsessed with the look of things. My name is Iris. I had to have flowers. I wanted the tall centerpieces. I knew I wanted that from the rip.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When I went to Majestic and asked them to quote me what that would cost, they told me $420 per centerpiece. Mind you, we're not even talking about the cost of ceremony flowers, or bouquet. We didn't talk about anything else yet. Um, so when I priced off site, I can share here. So for a tall centerpiece is 175.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was just worth it with the vendor fee, and I was still coming out less than that. And then
Yep.
what happened was I ended up adding more because they cover I went with can I share the vendor that
Yeah.
we
Yeah. I'd love to hear.
went with Blatty Flowers.
Yep.
You Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
She I sent her my vision board, the theme I was going with, and her team, they just was super receptive to everything. And it just made it a complete dream. I knew that my flowers had to speak to the vision, most of all, to make it all come together.
Yeah.
And
And I tell my couples that all the time. Let's get the quote from the resort, but let's look offsite as well. Because even with that outside vendor fee, I'm sure I'm going to be able to save you money by going through another
Yeah.
vendor than the
Yeah,
resort.
long as, I mean, long as, we know that we've used them before,
Yeah.
that they're reputable, things like that, we have to make sure we vet them as well, because
Yeah.
otherwise, we're telling, sometimes it's not all about money. You need to make sure that they're going to show up and the flowers are going to be as designed.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
And who do you
they're
use
high
for?
communication too. They really do ask you ten questions from your one or from just so they understand the full
Yeah.
picture, the big
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. They do a great job. I've used them in the past. Who did you use for your photography and videography?
Wedding Films Punta Cana. His name's Joel. His company.
Okay.
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 And
Okay.
they were very pleasant to work with, very in communication. They even have a meeting with us or schedule a meeting with us before we even left so they understand the direction. I let them know that I was a content creator and this how important this was for me. And I even gave them some examples of what I was trying to go for. And I don't know if you guys seen the trailer, but it was absolutely beautiful. And that was just the first trailer. And let me say this, he was able to give me my 1 minute trailer 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good.
It's great. Great turnaround time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great turnaround time.
And,
Okay.
and pictures. He gave me, I think, was 50 pictures. We still have a lot more coming, obviously, but he was able to at least get me the first round, which was amazing. I was so grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So other than that, did you use any other outside vendors?
No, those are the only services, photography, videography, and florist.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then as far as, did you feel that that was a challenge working with the planner when you were using an outside vendor, or did she fit with it right well?
No, she fit with it right well. I think both vendors they already been to Majestic and they so they understand what they had to do to either be there. So I was able to get easy access to their IDs because I had to send that ahead of time
Mhm.
for them for security. And then both vendors actually arrived, I want to say about an hour or two in advance before they really had to be there, just because sometimes it can take a little while for them to get through security. So that was the
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So did you feel that when your guests came on the resort at the Majestic, they were wowed? How'd your guest experience have be?
They loved it. They loved it. Oh my goodness. If I can tell you, if I had one dream, it was for my family, like my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my my cousins, all my friends to be in one spot. This was like the best thing. They all loved it. They was like, when are we coming back?
Awesome. That's awesome. That's
Are
awesome.
you doing an anniversary trip? Because we need to, we're down. So and we
Yeah.
are. We'll be doing an anniversary trip with family members who still, or friends who still want to go back with us this year.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. How easy was it for you to travel with your wedding attire?
It was pretty easy. So we didn't get any hassle at TSA or at check-in or anything. When we got on the plane, we immediately said, "Hey, we are bride and groom. Is there any way we can hang up our garments?" And they said, "We don't have any place to hang your stuff." So they said, "If you just go ahead and for the overhead bins," they was like, "If you put your stuff in the overhead bins and shut it, nobody will touch it." And that's what we did.
That is
Oh,
exactly
good.
right. That's exactly
Yeah.
what we did. We just put our bags up first and then we just laid the dress on top
Yep,
of it and shut the bin and nobody bothered.
that was
Yeah.
fine. Hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
That's kind of what I always tell people too. I'm like, just quickly get in there and, I said, pay for the priority boarding or get in there and shut it up and go
Shut
for
it off.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and did you bring anything from home, like things you want to use at the wedding that you
Yeah,
brought?
so we actually we bought some decor items for our tablescapes at the reception. We brought things like candle holders, our own chargers, tea lights, our own napkins and napkin rings.
Okay.
We brought our own welcome sign. What else did we bring? We jumped the broom at our wedding,
Okay.
so we brought that, and I'm trying to think quickly. I mean, everything else it was like gifts. So we made our own tote bags that just said Punta Cana, the Munsons, and that was really cute. And we gave that away for our welcome party. So we did host some events while we were there as well.
Okay.
Did you have any issues going through the airport security with all the items that you were bringing into Punta Cana?
No.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And what about the resort? Did they charge you anything to set those items up that you brought from home?
Yes, so they charged us for the reception, $350 to set up everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could
They
have,
did a beautiful job. They
yeah,
did a
and you could sometimes have your own wedding party do it as well. But yeah, you're right. Why put somebody, yeah, for that kind of money? No, no.
I mean, I felt like everybody was there to enjoy vacation. I didn't want to have to be like, "Oh, can we let's do this before the." I didn't want to bother anybody with that, so
Yeah.
$350 well spent.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's nice to bring some of your stuff with you as well because you can save a lot of money even with the fees that they're,
I just want to say
charging you.
what prompted that response for us to bring our own decor was I was looking at the brochure and I'm just like, why are they charging I think for the chargers, was it $8 a charger or six? It was something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is too much money. I can get this off of Amazon and
hmm
bring it. And I know it's like I gotta carry a suitcase. And I heard some horror stories where people had like six suitcases. Me and my husband, we had three total.
Yeah, you can do well. I mean, we see more of an issue going through TSA in the Mexico
Okay.
vicinity. I actually went with a wedding group in June, and they had sent me their napkins that they wanted because they couldn't match the napkins that they wanted, along with some of the other things that they wanted me to bring. And I had got pulled over. They also did as well, and had a duty free. We had to pay duty charges on it. that does happen. We always recommend our brides, if they're going to take anything, you just laminate, you do a spreadsheet of what you paid for everything, your dollar amount that you paid, where you got it, what you're carrying, and then that way you don't have to be worried about because they've got the dollar amount right there. If they're going to charge you, it's right there.
Yeah. And convert it also into Spanish as well,
Yep.
because if you're dealing
Into
with a
pesos.
TSA
Yes.
agent that
Yeah.
may not speak fluent English or read English well, at least they can
Yeah.
read it
Yeah.
in Spanish and save your receipts. But yeah, a lot of our couples bring things with them because it's all the little things that people don't realize that add up so, so fast.
hmm And
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, how many events did you end up having then while you were at the
We
resort?
had we did a welcome party. Well, we greeted everybody when they came. We had a welcome party, obviously the wedding day. Then Saturday night we had made reservations at Kabuki. So I had a different idea in my mind because I thought that we would all be able to sit together, and I didn't know it was broken up in a small room. So
Okay.
I was like a little upset, was surprised by that. But we all essentially ate together and then met up at the lobby, that bar right there, and it was still fine, still fine.
Yeah.
And then most people, we jump backtrack. That day we were supposed to do the phone party, but the phone party got canceled on Saturday for some reason. Not sure why that happened. So we pivoted and we all went to the club that evening as well.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
So prior to going to destination, did you have like a wedding weekend itinerary or something put together that you sent out to your friends and family so they kind of knew like what events were taking place when and
Yeah, so we had our wedding website. We did Zola,
okay.
and I had the itinerary on the Zola website so everybody could see. And the welcome party was an all white party, so everybody had all white on. It
Yeah.
was just really nice. Mhm.
Cool.
So on average, how many days did your guests stay? I know everyone's coming and goings are usually different, but what was like the average amount of nights your
I
guests
would
stayed?
say 3 to 4 nights.
Mhm.
Most people got there on Thursday and left Sunday or Monday.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you feel was the best part about having a destination wedding versus having one at home?
I felt like the best part was just having I don't want to be like crazy, but you kind of eliminate fluffery of people
Mhm.
from having it local versus having it a destination wedding because the people who really want to show up for you do show up. And I wholeheartedly believe that. If they wasn't there, I don't take it personal. But everyone there has we have a personal connection, an emotional connection with, and it was just, for me, I had no friends there. Everyone was family to both of us. And I think that was the biggest thing for us, having all those people there, the people that actually truly love us, who have actually witnessed our love journey throughout the years in support of us.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you told your friends and family you wanted to do a destination wedding, did you get any kind of pushback from anybody? Like, why
Oh,
are you doing
I'll,
this?
I'll say it's a big one. My dad. So
Mhm.
my dad is like Philly born and raised, go birds, and he likes to be in his man cave. He's retired. He not the the last time he probably traveled was to Vegas for work many years ago, but now he's retired. So he was a little grumpy when I asked him to go, and I was like, "Come on, Dad." I'm just like, my dad actually married us.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
That's nice.
So it was really important. Like he was the person that could have made this decision different.
Mhm.
And I had to tell him like it's a lot riding on you. I said, because if you tell me no, I'm going to be so upset. I will not have a destination wedding. And he came around. He came around. He's like, no, dear, I'll be there. It's going to be fine. And he had a fabulous time.
Mhm.
Usually it's the one that doesn't want to go that has
Mhm.
probably the best time, to be honest. I mean, I've seen that happen. I've actually had a wedding group that one what was the spouse or the groom to be his mother did not want to go, and then she called me from destination and wanted to stay 2 more days.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
happens. Hmm.
yes, it does.
So, what would you recommend to anybody that's listening to this that is starting their journey in the destination wedding process? What would you recommend to them?
I would recommend to speak to at least, 2 or 3 travel agents to weigh your options. And then in those conversations, ask specific questions about if they really had dealt with the resort specifically, or if they just know of other people who have dealt with the resort. I think it's a different experience when you have a travel agent who's like boots on the ground. I've worked with this wedding team before. I know how this resort operates with brides. They can tell you how many weddings they typically have per day. If that's a concern for you, just make sure you have those conversations before moving forward. And and also be mindful of the how many people you have and location. That's it.
Yeah. What locations did you pick for your wedding? Where was your ceremony and reception?
Oh, so we had our ceremony on the beach at the beach gazebo, and
Okay.
then we had our reception at the poolside bar. Now, I had some drama. I don't know if you guys are up for this story, but we had
I
a
love
five.
some tea, so spill
Yeah,
it, girl.
that's good. We did it too. Okay. So we had a 5 o'clock ceremony. I hear from maybe a day before we leave from the photographer that if you have a 5 o'clock wedding, don't be late because it's not going to be that much sunlight. Mind you, this is December and I didn't know that. So I tried to ask the coordinator, can we move it to 4:30? They told me no. I don't know why that was. They didn't have a wedding, no other weddings that day, so I didn't see why that would have been a problem. Um, but make a long story short, the day of the wedding, I'm getting my makeup done. I went off the resort for my makeup. When when I looked at the artist for the resort, they didn't have a lot of they didn't have a lot of, I guess, a diversity in their portfolio. So I did not know if they could handle, my skin type. So we went with another makeup artist. Her name is Makeup VR, and she does all complexions, which was beautiful. And she was about probably 35 minutes away, but because of traffic, please be mindful of Punta Cana traffic. Oh, we were way longer than what we expected. So all the extra time that I had padded, we have now lost. So my
Mhm.
cousin did my hair. She styled my hair. That didn't take too long. And from 3 o'clock, we were running just on time. And then we had to get dressed. So when I got dressed with my dress, I had like parts to it. I have an overskirt, I had the dress, and I had drop sleeves. Well, everybody who was on like my wedding dress team forgot how to put my dress together. I'm busty, so they forgot they don't know how to tape me up. They I was taped up 3 times. This was this is pretty bad. So now we're at 5 o'clock and I'm still like not dressed. I'm still like struggling to get dressed from all of this. And make a long story short, I ended up not getting out there until 6:20.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
It was dark.
yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
it was
wow.
dark. I was gonna say it's dark.
I've lost the light. I was so upset, but I was trying not to be too upset because that was, at the end of the day, I'm still getting married to the love of my life. And what else happened? Something else happened. Makeup, the wardrobe. I just was in awe. I was just shocked. And I didn't know how I was worried about pictures and video because of the darkness, but they had it together. They had light out there for us. Our wedding coordinator was like trying to calm me down. And we had to revert to not having a cocktail hour. Now, our cocktail hour was just going to be at the piano bar while we took pictures. So we wouldn't have to pay extra for that. But we had to like cut that right on out due to the timing. Oh, here's what I wanted to say. We had 6 of our family members come from off the resort because they stayed at the Airbnb. And they had some issues. They had some issues. Now I've sent all their IDs to security to the wedding coordination team like I was supposed to. And security had to question if they were supposed to be there, then told them that we wasn't having a wedding, we wasn't scheduled to have a wedding there that day. I don't know why security so their experience was a bit interesting. And then they ended up not getting into the wedding until like 6 o'clock. So, and when I look back and I'm saying like,
So they
well,
were on time.
they were they were
Yeah.
on time, and I would have been upset if we started on time and they were not there because I wanted
Right.
everybody to be there. So I guess in a way, it was just meant to be that way, and it worked out.
Did the wedding planner, did she had already been notified of who was coming,
Yes.
everything, and she was
Yes.
supposed to, okay, okay.
She
'Cause
said she did. We had Lady, and she did send all their IDs and everything over to security. She said, I don't know what the issue was. And then for some reason, and I'm just telling you what my family members told me.
Mhm.
When they got to Majestic, I guess up to the front desk where they had to pay their fee, someone tried to say they had to pay $220. And she was like, I remember you telling me we only had to pay 165 per person because that's what the off resort fee is, that especially in a brochure, and also the coordinator confirmed multiple times. And I don't know why there was a discrepancy there, but then they changed it to, oh no, it's 165. So it worked out, but I wish they didn't have that experience or that difficulty, a challenge at security and in the front desk. But
Yeah, I think they probably were trying to charge them for just a day pass versus a
Yeah, that's what it
wedding
sounds
pass.
like, a day pass
Sounds like
versus a
a day
wedding
pass
pass.
versus a wedding pass. And it
is
was
the is the day is there a difference? I thought it was the day pass that was 165, or is it?
there's
There's
different
two
for the
different
wedding.
things, yeah. So your guests that stayed off site, did they give you any kind of pushback or have any issues having to pay that fee to come on site?
No, they were totally fine.
Okay. Okay.
We're totally fine with that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, but they only came for the wedding. They didn't come for any of your
They
other
didn't come
events.
for the other events, and the reason why they didn't stay on the resort because none of them drank.
Mhm.
So they just didn't feel like they needed to be on a resort, not having not. So they planned other activities, which was fine. It worked out.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Do you have any other last thoughts on um, reasons that you wouldn't do a destination wedding again, or are you completely all in that it was a great experience and you would do it over again?
I would 100% do another destination wedding. I just don't. I think the stigma around destination weddings is that they're crazy expensive. And if you plan it appropriately and if you give yourself enough time, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be this crazy budget. I think the average cost of a wedding in the States is $30,000. You don't even touch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, especially like if you're working with an agent that is able to offer you
Mhm.
different types of comps and concessions and things like that, all those
Add up.
monetary items also help offset your costs of your wedding and things like that. And if anyone is listening and they're looking about doing a destination wedding, they can reach out to Carol and I. We can kind of go over our programs that we have, how the resort has their programs that they offer, but then we also have other programs that we're able to offer, such as depending on how many rooms are paid and traveled, we will give you up to $2,500 back. And we also have an exclusive promotion with the Majestic brand in the resorts in Punta Cana and in Mexico, where our couples will receive a free return anniversary stay for the same number of nights in the same room category. So if you book 10 nights in that oceanfront plunge pool suite, you're getting a return anniversary stay for 10 nights in that oceanfront plunge pool suite. So it's a sweet perk that we're able to offer our clients. And I have one last question for you, Iris. If you could do it all over again, if anything, what would you change?
I would change my timeline.
Mhm.
I
A
would
little bit
change my
earlier,
timeline.
a little bit earlier in the
Just
day.
a little bit. I didn't need that much daylight, but just to have a little bit.
Yeah.
And I would change my timeline. I think I would have went to makeup at 7 a.m., like arrived at 7 a.m.
Mhm.
And that way I would have had more than enough time for like hair and then my get ready, photos and all that other stuff. We would have just had just a lot more time. So that would be the one thing that I would change. And what we did to make up for that is I have supportive family and friends. So they got me dressed the next day and we did a reshoot with just my husband and I at the beach gazebo and on a resort we just had my iPhone, and I was able to edit the photos, and I think they came out gorgeous as well. So
Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did anybody help you put a timeline together? Did your travel agent help you put a timeline together or your photographer?
nope. Nobody helped me. I tried to ask for I guess well, photographer did try to put a timeline together because he let me know what time he would arrive and
Mhm.
how long he would be with the groom versus how much he would be with me and then to the wedding. But before that, it was really much just riding on me. My travel agent, she I think was a little distracted. She's from Jamaica and they had just had the hurricane
Mm.
that hit there. So the communication was just not the best at that point. So she obviously had other things to tend to given the situation. So I was just kind of like on my own, kind of like figuring it out. And it's okay.
It all worked out. You're married, you're happy, and you have these wonderful memories now that you'll be able to look back
Yes.
on. And
Mhm.
years from now, you guys are going to sit there and laugh about like,
Oh, definitely. We
you,
laugh
you
now.
know, and
Late
you
for our
know,
own wedding. Late for our own wedding.
yeah, yeah. So again, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day today to talk with us, and it's been really nice getting to know you and learning about your perspective from a destination wedding, because Carol and I, we talk to couples all the time that are just starting this process, and we can tell them what to expect, but it's always nice to hear it from somebody that has gone through the process.
And just recently. I mean, mine was 4 years ago, you know.
Mhm.
I will
Oh,
say,
that's not hard. Yeah, that's not long
it's not,
ago.
it wasn't, but there's things that even though we do this, there was things that I missed. So I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say it doesn't happen because it
It
happens.
happens. Yeah.
You just don't think sometimes you think you've got everything lined up and everything's good to go, and it's like, oh, I didn't do that.
Hmm.
I think about it, I laugh. I mean, mine was that the color of the tulle that I wanted on the gazebo.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be one color. It wasn't that color. That was the first thing I saw when I walked around the corner. And I was just like looking at it like, huh. I forgot all about the wedding. It was like, the tulle's wrong. And honestly, it could have been a misconception because we were supposed to get married the year before, but COVID hit, so we had to move it ahead a year. So I mean,
Sure.
so I I didn't sweat it, but that was the first thing that I thought, and I thought afterwards, I thought, why didn't I just send somebody down there to look at that? I should know better than that, but it happened.
Mhm.
It
And I
happened.
think like every wedding, things are going to happen. It's
Yeah.
just you as a couple may notice it, but your guests aren't going to
Yeah.
notice it.
Mhm.
No.
And at the end of the day, it's about bringing everybody together and having that time, making those memories. And again, some of the stuff you'll look back on and you're just going to laugh at,
Mhm.
how you were late for your own ceremony,
Yes. And I joke about that. I joke about
Yeah,
that.
you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
well, again, thank you so much for taking
Thank
time to
you.
talk
Thank you,
to us.
Cindy. Thank you,
we
Carol. Thanks
appreciate
for
we
having me.
Good.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. That was awesome. We appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it'll help our other future brides and hopefully, like I said, if we get other brides that see this and they're interested in meeting with us, we'd love to hear experiences and see, it only helps us as well. It gives us
Yeah.
ideas that maybe, aha, we didn't think about that. You
Mhm.
just got something in our mind that we didn't think about. But, yeah, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. And if you don't mind just sharing me your socials on Instagram
Yep.
and
Sure.
if you're on TikTok or what other social platforms you're on besides you.
We put our podcast. We're out on YouTube. It's just Wedding Talk with Mindy and Carol. And we'll
Okay.
send it along back over to you too to view. So before we approach it on, and then we have a Facebook page as well under ours. And then we also, what's our website, Mindy?
www.destinationweddingtalk.com.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're on there, and we just started building this, so we're all new to it as well.
Yeah.
We're doing it the most cost-effective way to get our word out, but we think it'll be great because it's not really what do we want to say? We're not really having any publisher or broadcaster go through it. It's all natural. So we really appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next time on Wedding Talk.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me again, ladies.
All right.
Thank you
Bye for
so
now,
much.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wedding inspiration and tips. Visit us at destinationweddingtalk.com for resources and updates. And as always, send us your questions to Mindy and Carol. We love hearing from you. Join us again next week for the latest episode of Wedding Talk with Mindy and Carol. Until then, happy planning.